Artists are preparing for what is perhaps the first art exhibit focused on climate change in Malden, Massachusetts. This week, we talked to a longtime resident of Medford and a passionate mosaic artist, Susan Altman, who just learned her two pieces were accepted into the show.
Well, my first reaction was, hey, this was written for me. Personally, I have been an environmentalist forever and worked in the field for a long time, did a lot of projects professionally having to do with climate change. And since I've transitioned more to full-time artwork, I have very much been taken up with the concept of climate change and how important it is and how people aren't paying any attention to it. Excuse me. An issue which only seems to be getting worse. And so I have always wanted to be more present in exhibits that dealt with climate change and have in the past seen too few of them.
Mm.
So I was excited that a local arts group that I respect was dealing head on with this, and really wanted to participate and have a lot of things that I think are appropriate for an exhibit like this, because it is what I do. And I tend to be a very direct, sort of concrete thinker. So for me, it's difficult to create something that doesn't actually sort of head on hit people over the head with climate change is happening and you got to deal with it now. And it's very hard with more generic arts organizations to find a good fit with that kind of attitude. A lot of people don't want to be hit over the head with art, and it hurts if it's a mosaic. So, so I was really happy to find this. Well, it's a huge issue, as I know you know, and there's no one answer. It depends on your perspective. It depends on how you feel about what people will react well to. Like I said, a lot of people don't like to be preached to. They don't want to be told what to think. So a lot of art that deals with topics like this tend to be sort of more opaque. And if you want to interpret it as having to do with climate change, you can. And if you don't, then you won't. My particular philosophy is to be as direct as I can be, but not be completely depressing either. So I have a lot of pieces that sort of take a kind of visually punny way of dealing with it. So, there might be a relationship between the materials and the topic, or maybe the actual topic, but the materials are fun and whimsical or different, so that people can come at it and see something that doesn't push them away while they're still getting the idea that I'm trying to get across, or at least I hope they're getting the idea. So the first piece that I submitted is called Under Our Thumb. And it is, as you will see, a picture of the Western Hemisphere. Can I get it far enough away that you can actually see it? I believe I can.
Yep.
And I used small pieces of glass to build an impression of a sort of global map of the Western Hemisphere, with the United States on the top and the South American part coming down to the bottom. But there is very clearly a thumbprint embedded on that. And my idea with that was to say, we humans are having a massive impact on the planet, and it's not a good one. The second one that I submitted is called Golden Calf, and it's about the environmental impacts of the agro-industrial complex.
I see.
So it has a cow inside a barn, very sterile barn. And the cow is made up of logos of the big four agriculture meat producing entities, which are all worldwide. They are not specific to the United States. So most people, when they go buy a steak at the store, they think they're getting something that is local, and it's generally not at all local. The piece also has a lot of gold in it, and the gold I put in to be talking a little bit about how much money is wrapped up in the industry of creating meat, and how much of our total budget as a country and as a world goes to the production of meat. I am one of those artists who does not come up with a concept in advance and have it be like fully blown out, fully envisioned, and then just sit down and make it. I react to the materials and I get ideas as I'm going along. And I find that I tend to jump into something and then realize what I'm doing halfway through. I hope they come to them and first laugh at them, or at least at the cow ones, like, oh, there's a cow. He's kind of cute. And then maybe see something else in it and start to wonder, like, why are there logos in here? And what do they represent? And sort of, just think about things in their own head and maybe start to put two and two together, or find me and say, why do you have these logos in here? What do they mean? So that they learn something without being bombarded with too much information that they don't want to take in because they perceive it as an attack. I don't want people to feel attacked. I want them to feel welcomed, to think about the art, but to have enough direct references in it that they can, if they really want to, they can figure a lot of it out. And just to be non-affrontive enough to let people respond to it if they're ready to. I don't want to be preaching to the choir. I don't think it's helpful, but it's also extremely hard to get people to change their minds and very easy to put them off. And so I'm trying to walk a very delicate line between those two things. And maybe I've succeeded and maybe I haven't. Time will tell.
Support for the Civic SciTV network comes from viewers, readers, and listeners like you. Visit civicscitv.org to learn more.